AI is going to deliver so many improvements in the quality of our lives.
This is the future. It's the provision of jobs for people.
I can imagine there will be autonomous schools. AI can help grade papers.
Technology has great potential, but also dangerous limitations.
Once humans develop artificial intelligence that would take off on its own, humans couldn't compete.
I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads.
Activate.
I think we're seeing a more rapid, more fundamental set of changes in technology than humanity has ever witnessed before.
Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to you all here today. My name is Teresa. I'm a second-year English language education student from State University of Jakarta, and I'll be your adjudicator for this debate. With me here today, 4 debaters. First up, Trinanda Herlambang. He is as the speaker for affirmative team and along with his partner, Zanatul Isra. Also, from the opposition, we have Alita Pertiwi and Anissa Octaviana as the speakers for negative theme. Our motion today is AI, artificial intelligence, should be employed for teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia. Well, the term of AI was coined by John McCarthy in 1956 when he first held the academic conference on the subject matter. AI is making its way into various fields, including medicine, automobile industry, and more importantly, education. Since AI is advancing so rapidly, it is vital for us to start to debate the challenges we are facing together. In this moment, we'll hear the advantages and the challenges of AI in education from the 4 debaters mentioned above. So, the structure of this debate is very simple. Each speaker will be speaking for maximum 10 minutes, starting with the affirmative speaker and followed by the first opposition speaker, and so on. And I'll be knocking once when the speaker has 1 minute left, and knocking twice when the speaker is out of time. Points of information or POI is allowed to be delivered in maximum 15 seconds. And now, I'd like to call upon Trinanda to open the first argument of the affirmative theme. Trinanda, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Okay, good afternoon, Madam Chairman, adjudicators, ladies and gentlemen, and also the opposite team. My name is Trinanda Herlambang as the first speaker, and there are my partner, Zanatul Isra, as the second speaker. We are here as the affirmative team which support the motions. The motions for our debate today is about AI or artificial intelligence should be employed in the teachings and learning process in every public school. So we, as the affirmative team, totally agree with the motions that should be employed in our teaching and learning process. So as the first speaker, I'm going to talk to everyone here about why do we need to employ the AI in every public school. So our team will raise about 3 reasons why we agree with the motions. The first reason is AI is produce smart content. The second is AI assisting educators with organizational tasks. And then the last is AI can assist students to do self-learning. So my part will talk about the AI produced smart content. And I will give my definitions first about the motions. If we are talking about AI in this debate, we need to be clear what exactly is AI. So the term AI was coined by John McCarthy in 1956 uh, when he first held the academic conference on the subject matters. So AI is a branch of a science producing and studying machines and aimed at the stimulations of human intelligence processes. So what is the objective of using AI? The main objective of uh, AI, it is to optimize the routine process, improving the speed and also the efficiency. So with the growth of technology, we, the affirmative team, find that many researchers claims that artificial intelligence and machine learning can increase the level of education. For example, with the latest innovations, allow developers to teach a computer to do such a complicated task. So it leads to the opportunity to improve the learning process. And also, however, it is impossible to replace the tutor or the professor. So AI provides many benefits for both students and also the teachers. So,
BOI, please.
ladies and gentlemen,
BOI, please.
let me finish my argument first. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my argument about AI produce smart content. A smart content stands for various learning material, or we could say it is a digitized material like a platform, the ebook, and also the videos. As we know that in Indonesians, most of the learning materials take place by using YouTube and also Google Classroom. Why? Because the students feel interest when they see a colorful videos. They can listen to the videos, they can analyze the videos, and they may do a discussion through the videos. Uh, and also, it is not only about a written text and pictures. Students feel bored when they learn material from it. For example, if students want to search an informations, they can directly use the technology to help them. So the information is also up to date, and it always have a newest informations, or we could say new editions. So ladies and gentlemen, um, if we look at a book, I mean a hard book, it will take more time to update it. For example, when there's a new additions, a hard book firstly need to do a process like a revisions or a cross check from the team, so that the book may be shared to everybody. Uh, and it take more time rather than artificial intelligence. With the technology, we can use the AI to help us to search every information. We can directly can get what we want to know about our materials related to the subject. So, Madam Chairman, adjudicators, and also ladies and gentlemen, for finalize it, based our opinion, our point uh, of the advantage of employing AI in education, we at the affirmative team strongly believe that AI should be employed for teaching and learning. in every public school. There are so many beneficial from using AI. So my partner Zanatul Isra will bring us deeper about why do we need to employ AI in every public school. So for the last, I just want to quote a sentence from Professor Jan Lichtenstein from New York University. He stated that our intelligence is what makes us human, and AI, artificial intelligence, is an extension of that quality. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Nanda. And now it's turn to Alita to start speaking as the opposition. Alita, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, the adjudicator, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Elita Pertiwi, and I am the first speaker from the negative team. As mentioned before by our adjudicators, the topic for our debate today is artificial intelligence powered should be employed for teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia. However, we disagree with the arguments given by the opposition's team. We, the negative team, strongly believes that the statements are false. Today, I am talking here as a first speaker, and I will be talking to you about the difficulties and also the problems of employing artificial intelligence powered for teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia. To begin with, I will elaborating on technology addictions hazard due to AI and the high cost of employing AI in public school. For our second speaker, Anissa, she will discuss the lack of digital literacy and cyber attack due to AI. Our second speaker then will rebut, and sum up our team case. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, the first speaker, as you heard before, the first speaker of the affirmative team has tried to tell you that smart content from AI, such as Google Classroom, Google Form, ebook, or YouTube contents, are far more interesting and helpful in the teaching and learning process. Well, our team believes that this is a double-edged sword. We have the evidence from Salma in 2019. Salma in 2019 states that the strong attachment and the need to AI could decline human mobility and cognitive. Because people have been assisted by sophisticated AI in everyday life, people have been assisted in every aspect of their necessity, inevitably, human will rely most of their needs to AI. In short, AI leads to technology addiction hazard. And like every addiction in the world, it will harm humankind. For the perspective of educator, based on e-learningindustry.com, educators could become more reliant on AI to craft curriculum and all other aspects of education. And because teachers are so addicted to AI, without employing AI, teaching process would be disrupted or interfered. For example, when the internet connections or Wi-Fi connections is broken off or disconnected, or when the device for delivering materials is glitched or out of order, the teaching process will be disrupted and diminished. And also, we can see from the student's perspective. Because students are so addicted to AI, without employing AI, the learning process itself will also be interfered. For example, when the internet connections or Wi-Fi connections is broken off or disconnected, or when the device they needed are broken, the learning process itself will also be disrupted. So ladies and gentlemen, the excessive use of AI also causes addictions. And to exacerbate students no longer able to utilize or to maximize their own abilities and potentials. For example, dependency on Google Translate, for example. The dependency can create the setbacks of students' ability to perform their self-translate ability well. And I have one more question. I have one more examples. The dependency on Grammarly, could diminish student ability to proofread their essay because they are very rely on those AI. Okay, moving on to my argument. My point is about the cost of AI. The reason for this is when combining the cost of installations, the cost of maintenance, and the cost of reparations, it is clear that AI is expensive.
POA, please. POA, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, you say that AI is expensive, right? But
correct.
How can AI cost much money? Actually, it only need money in the beginning when buying AI tools. After that, AI doesn't cost much money, and it can be used for a long term.
Okay.
So, what do you think?
Okay, I got your point. Thank you. When I said AI is expensive, like what I have elaborated before, that it's not merely about the cost of installations. In fact, it also involves the cost of maintenance and the cost of reparations if the device or the AI is broken off. And I have the evidence from Hidayanto 2011 from www.eprints.uny.ac.id. Hidayanto 2011 stated that, in fact, management of facilities and infrastructures in schools in Indonesia, it involves a long series of planning and maintaining activity, and also it needs the readiness and the competency of human resources. Furthermore, there will be an additional cost for maintenance, such as you can say monthly fee, right? And also there will be cost of outsourcing, for example, if we need for reparations. And there also be a training cost for human resources, right? In order to be competent in maintaining schools, facilities, and infrastructures. So those long series makes AI is expensive. And actually, according to ombudsman.go.id, education funding is the joint responsibility of government, local government, and the community. And the community here is an educational provider or unit established by the community, by the students, by the parents, or by the guardians of students, or maybe by other parties who have concerns and roles in educational sector. This is from Article 2 PP 48 2008 concerning educational funding. Hence, employing AI in every public schools in Indonesia would be a big funding burden for government or local government. And relying the AI cost to community also will not be applicable to most public schools community who cannot afford AI. So, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusions, we believe that employing AI is expensive, and AI leads to the technology addiction hazard. All this reason has led to a conclusion that employing AI powered in teaching and learning process for every public school in Indonesia has so many problems and difficulties. In short, AI powered cannot be employed in every public school in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elsa, for your arguments. And now Moving on to the next speaker. And now it's time for Zanatul to start speaking as the affirmative team. Zanatul, please, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Madam Adjudicator. Good afternoon, Madam Adjudicator. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Zanatul Isra as the second affirmative speaker. Well, the motion of our debate is AI powered should be employed for teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia. We, the affirmative team, are totally agree with this motion. Our first speaker already stated there are three advantages in using AI. First, it provides with smart content. Second, AI is assisting educator with organizational tasks. And the last, AI helps students to do self-learning. Well, I will be talking to you about the second and the third advantages. Now, this the second advantages is AI is assisting educator with organizational tasks. With AI, teacher can be more focused on teaching and learning process instead of spending more time in administrative tasks. Based on Forbes and elearning.com, teachers often spend up to 50% of their time for non-teaching tasks such as booking and managing field trips, filling necessary paperwork, ordering and managing classroom materials, grading exam, and responding to parents.
POI, please. POI, may I? POI, please.
Okay, yes, sure.
Okay. What I heard before, you said that AI could help teacher grading score, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
What do you believe? Teacher cannot depend on or rely grading score fully to AI because, for example, let's say the usage of Google Form in grading score for students. From what we comprehend, the Google Form or AI, it cannot be utilized fully in grading the essay and the fill in the blank kind of questions. So here, teachers still need to perform such tasks manually and personally. So AI here cannot really be relied, or we cannot really rely AI on grading score. What do you say about that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I got your point. In practice, the test used by the teacher not only essay, but also there are other tests such as multiple choice, filling in the blank, and so on. As you mentioned, Google Form can be used to multiple choice test, but for the grading essay, there are another application beside Google Form. Okay, I go on with my argument. AI systems are particularly helpful at managing these back office tasks. This AI system can assist with grading activity and provide response to the student. AI can also handle routine and repetitive tasks, dealing with logistic and related matters and other personal issues. AI system can even provide interaction between parents and the guardian. AI also can give access to resources and feedback to the students. Um, with again, with the help of AI, time-consuming activity could be optimized by the teacher, and we, as and entrusting a set routine task to AI. We believe AI could help teachers to make room for something more important than doing organizational tasks. Okay, the last and my final point is that AI can help students to do self-learning. AI can AI provides opportunity for students to do self-learning outside the classroom. They can access many resources in YouTube and Google and other platform.
POI, please.
Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you. You say that students can do self-learning. They can access so many materials and sources from Google, YouTube, etc. But how can we make sure that our students are on the right track and not exposed with so many false news and hoax out there? Okay, how do you explain that? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. To overcome this lack of information literacy, teacher can provide student with the link and resources or which the student can access in the platform that the teacher and the student use in their teaching and learning activity. For example, uh, our lecturer provide us with many references and link that we can access in the Google Classroom. So the other teacher can do it that and help their student to dislike information literacy. Also, teachers should inform the student which website in Google or which YouTube channel are credible to be accessed. For example, libgan.com, scopus.com, sciencedirect.com, TED Talk, Forbes, BBC, and etc. All right. To sum up, our team agreed that there are three major advantages in using AI. First, AI provides smart content. Second, AI assisting educator with organizational tasks. And the last, AI helps students to do self-learning. Okay, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, we believe that artificial intelligence in education has brought several advantages. Hence, we strongly believe that AI powers should be employed for teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Zanato, for your argument. And now, I'd like to call upon the last speaker, Anissa, as the closing of the opposition. Anissa, please, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, adjudicator, ladies and gentlemen. I am Anissa as a second negative speaker. Well, the motion of our debate is AI power should be employed for teaching and learning process in every public schools in Indonesia. We, the negative team, strongly believe that the statements are false. To recap, our first speaker, Alita, has already stated there are two drawbacks in using AI. First, the high costs emerge while applying AI, and the other one, AI can lead to the technology addiction hazards. Well, for adding the arguments, I will be talking to you about another 2 points. Now, to my first point, there is lack of digital literacy, both teacher and students. The reason for this are based on the survey's results in 2018, which was conducted by Pustekam Kemendikbud. Mr. Gatot Suhartowo, as a chairman of Pustekam, say that the total general number of teachers in Indonesia are 3 million, it means only the rest of the teacher was still not ready for the progress of technologies. Another reason, it is based on Mr. Toto Analytical and Capacity Development Partnership, ACDP. He said, The problem is currently there are still many schools that have not been able to utilize technology because they are hampered by various problems such as lack of training for teachers, lack of adequate electricity, and no support for equipment maintenance. Well, let me tell you one real example. Desti Sara Sagita, a teacher who once taught in a remote area in Buton, Sulawesi, also say that teachers in this region still have difficulty learning technology. She said there are schools that have obtained computer from the government but have not been used, even open it for years because the school don't understand how to install the computers. Research shows that this situation might also cause domino effect to students because they have to struggle with digital skills due to teachers lack of competence in this area. Now let's move on to my second and my final point is that AI is vulnerable to cyber attacks. According to www.robotlab.com, intelligence software, artificial intelligence software is highly vulnerable to cyber attack. Okay, please unmute yourself.
POI, please.
Okay, please.
Okay, thank you. You said that artificial intelligence software is highly vulnerable to cyber attack, right?
Okay.
We as affirmative believe that cyber attack aren't big problems since we only need to make the data more secure. Is it true?
All right, thank you. Of course, all school can do is to rely on installing data security protection software. Yet, even with that, sometimes hacker can still get into the school systems, right? Considering that it contains a ton of data, such as the entire database of student, teacher, and parents' information, it might be hacked by irresponsible person who are constantly designing ways to attack. Let me tell you one case in 2019. While one of the fraud syndicates said that before they did the action, they first hacked the students' data who would be the targets through the school database. And then they tried to contact their parents and told them that their children had an accident and they had to send much money in order to help their children. In fact, when the parents contact their student's teacher and their child is totally fine. Okay, can you imagine?
POI, please.
Okay, sorry, let me finish my explanation first. Thank you.
All right.
So, can you imagine? It could be very damaging to the victims of such a cyber attacks having our personal information. So, last case. The cyber attacks do not only come from the external, but also from the internal. Some students are willing to hack university system in order to change their grades. However, if they are not able to do it by themselves, there will be plenty of hackers who are available to be hired and do what the students want. Based on the www.tribunews.com in 2017, in order to improve his academic records, students at one of the university in Indonesia are willing to pay hackers. Well, to sum up, our team agree that there are at least 4 major challenges in using AI. First, the AI high cost. 2, it leads to the technology addiction hazard due to employing AI. 3, lack of digital AI may give vulnerable to cyber attack. So, Madam Chairman, educator, ladies and gentlemen, in all public school in Indonesia. Many troubles and difficulties. In short, AI power cannot be employed in every public school in Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you, Anissa, for your points of views and arguments. Well, everyone, what we got here from the debate today about the employment of AI in teaching and learning process in every public school in Indonesia, it can be both beneficial and challenging. First, it leads to the opportunity to improve the teaching and learning process, as it can be a personalized education. It produces smart contents and can be an up-to-date tool for students to find the information. It can also be assisting educators with organizational tasks and helping students to do self-learning. However, on the other side, it's hard to deal with its destructive potential, which is seen to be hard to deal with, considering like the high cost of AI, and the students will be addicted to the technology. The lack of digital literacy is also another one that matters. And also, how AI seems to become vulnerable to cyber attacks is also harmful. That's all what we got from the debate today. And now, I'd like to close with a quote from Joseph Joubert. It's better to debate a question without settling it than to settle a question without debating it. And that's all what we have for you today. From me, Teresa, and all the entire debate team, we want to say thank you so much for being here today, and thank you very much for having us today.